So I did a little bit of work off stream, but that was mostly just trying to figure out whether or not I wanted to continue doing it the Blender way, or if I wanted to continue in Unity and use a Unity shader to do all the work. And I decided that I want to keep it, just do it in Blender. I have more control over it, it's easier to manage. And it's just the way I've already done it. So I can just copy my setup from other avatars instead of having to do it from scratch. So yeah, I figured that's going to be significantly easier to just continue on as I am. So don't think there should be too much more to do because I'm doing it a bit differently now than I used to, which should streamline things, but it's also going to take a bit longer because I need to rethink a bit, at least, the way that I was doing it previously. I'm also going to switch this real quick. I just realized, is my mic... Is my mic set to mono? Yeah, it is. Okay, so we should be good then. As I noticed in some of my previous streams, it sounded like it was like fading between the left and the right. And it shouldn't do that because it's not set to that mode, nor is it set to stereo in OBS. So if it does that, I don't really know what I changed to make it that way, but anyways, here we go. So, not really much got done, besides the fact that I went through and I was like, I'm just gonna figure it out that this is probably the leather texture and whatnot. I didn't really do anything else besides that. I also went through and I decided to make a group out of this, because I figured going through and making a group for these objects here, making a node group for each kind of material means that I will only ever have to set up that group once and then assign it to whatever part of the armor it needs to be on, because that way I don't have to worry about it having, like, going through and every single material on every part of the armor. I just have to go through and change each node group individually, which is much easier because then I only have to change 2 or 3 different settings, and then it does it for the entire armor, while also having unique materials and not having to cut down on the amount of materials I'm using, which is the reason I don't want to use shaders in Unity, because to optimize it I'd want to use at least like 1 or 2 materials at most per, whereas this I can have it a lot more complex and a lot more detailed. I also just realized that I need to grab my pictures. I'm gonna bring this over here so it opens on this screen. Need to grab my reference image. There we go. Yeah, because I was just going through and grabbing my reference image from here. Alright. Because I was looking at this and I was like, you know what? That kind of looks like a noise, but there's a leather texture in the folder here for the... this is the chest piece, yes, the core. That's what it's called. And I decided, you know what? We'll use that. Because that looks like it's where it should be. Well, what should be there. And it is applied to a couple other things that it probably shouldn't be, and I think that is actually a noise texture, but it also kind of looks like leather. It's a bit hard to tell with how small and highly tiled it is. So, we're just gonna go with this. I wish I could, like, sharpen the image and get like a... I'm not gonna go through and make my own leather texture, because this is admittedly a bit low resolution of an image, but you won't really be able to notice it that much. Actually, is there any texture filtering in Blender? Hold on, I'm curious here. Wait, is this? No, yeah, this is the leather node group. That is the leather texture, linear, flat, repeat, single image. Repeat, flat, box, sphere, that's projection. What is this? Texture interpolation, projection, interpolation, source. So, I am curious, if I just attach you onto that, and I do closest, cubic, smart. Oh, that's very interesting. So it does have texture filtering by default. Oh, very, very interesting. Okay. So... Polished surface, leather. Leather 01. Linear, closest, smart. Cubic. I believe cubic is probably closer to what Unity uses. I'll just keep with linear because that always seems to that seems to be the most consistent. It's a bit pixelated though. What if I go? Let me mess with the settings here a bit. Smart. That just makes it more fuzzy. Doesn't necessarily make it like smoother. I guess it does improve the texture a little bit. But when it goes into Unity, it'll get texture filtered anyway. So there's really no point in worrying about it. But yeah, that is what's happening to the. Wait, did I replace this? Male CDS medium armor 0101. MCDS armor 0101. Okay. That is correct. Linear smart. Yeah. All it's really doing is just blurring the texture more. Yeah, it's not necessarily improving the normal map as much as it's just smoothing it out, which I guess could be seen as an improvement. But again, even if it's a bit blocky, it'll still get filtered in Unity. So I don't, again, not really going to worry about it right now. Okay, so if I'm correct, I need to go through the chest plate here, the core piece. I already went through and I reassigned a bunch of stuff, like all these, for example, these individual panels, I all assigned to the same material because they don't really need to be assigned as their own. Because even in, this, they're pretty much just their own thing. They're basically identical each, which I believe as all of that, yes. Now, I will say there's two red bits here. So there's a dark part there and a dark part there. And this is something I didn't really count on, is that. I don't know if that's actually, oh no, it's there. Okay, I just wasn't looking at the wrong, right, I was looking at the wrong piece, I was not looking at the right one. Okay. So all of those are pretty much good. I kind of want to copy and paste these, actually. You know what, on second thought, they're fine. They're fine, as they are. Now, is there any other work that I need to do on this material in particular? The one with the leather. That's this one. It looks like we should be all good for the most part. The only thing I really needed to change was that leather bit around the shoulder. I'm not so sure about these, because this more or less appears to be the same as this. So if I just copy it and then just like paste it here. Yeah, that's more or less the same. Basically identical. And looking at the reference photo, nothing's different. Nothing has changed. So that case is also fine. Same here. Pretty much the same. That looks totally fine. Okay. And if that's the case, I could theoretically split those up, you know, combine those into the same material slot. If they're not. But then again, since I'm using the node group, it doesn't really matter. Using the node group is nice because it saves me the trouble of having to worry about if I've... Actually, yeah. I can combine, reassign, do all that stuff later. For now, I use the node group to adjust, and then I can minimize the amount of materials and stuff that's there afterwards. Actually, let me double check to make sure. Whoa. Is that what happened? Crazy, okay. Didn't realize it would move the screen automatically. That's actually good to know. I didn't know that would do that. How about... Because what I think I'll end up doing is just, if they use the same material, I'll end up literally just assigning them the same material instead of using the node group. Because the node group's helpful for being able to just, like, do things quickly. And then I'll go through and I'll assign the material later once I know for sure what is what. Because I can always delete a node, you know, the node group, and replace it with the another, you know, the actual nodes that I need to create the material. But in this case, deleting and reassigning material is a permanent decision. Yeah, that's fine. You scroll down and see. Aha! It is different. Okay. Delete that. Actually, undo. Undo. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to, because I can see from here, it's using that texture again, that like crisscross texture on the glove and on the back of the hand here. So those are the glove in the back of the hand here is probably the same material. So once I create the, you know, redo all this and create the node group for it, I can just copy it over. Low resolution pattern. Pattern diamond. That looks like it's the one. And there's the gloss map, which I'm also going to repurpose as the albedo texture. Albedo, whatever. Copy that. Go back into here. Paste them. Make group. Those two. Wait, is it? Why did it? Oh. Okay. Never mind. That's not going to do anything. Good to know. I can't do that. So what I want to do, if I duplicate that, is it just going to create... Okay, actually going to create another one of those. Paint. I'm just going to copy all the nodes and paste them in. Just like that. And U to U, U to U, U to U. And that one's going to be emission. Oh, I forgot I can name these. Ah, I forgot I can name these. I already know what they are, though, so it's not really important. Base color, metallic. Oh, wait, no, I did it. Did it too far. Base color, metallic. Roughness? Where is it? Roughness, there it is. I intentionally set them up this way so it was 1, 2, 3. I didn't have to worry about naming them or anything like that. Because even if I name them, I might, you know... It's just easier this way. I could name them, but at this point I just know what they are, so I don't have to worry about it. Which part should I start on? Well, first I gotta identify what I'm actually looking at here. Oh. And normal. Okay. So as it appears, this is fine. The dark parts are fine as they are. The colors are correct. I just need to add in the diamond pattern. Actually, I'm gonna leave that there. Control T. UV vector, yep. Let's grab that. Make sure that is a non-color. That also needs to be non-color. There we go. Actually, no, that needs to, we can leave that as color because I need to use that for the... Okay, that's fine. It won't really hurt too much. And I can make sure the vector is applied to both of those. And... Right, which part does this need to be applied to? I think... Nope, not that one. B? C. There it is. Okay, that's the right one. A, B, C, D. I'm calling them A, B, C, D in order from 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's kind of arbitrary, but it helps me process what I'm looking at. So that's that as well. So if I drag the color into here instead, there you go. And the same goes for over here. Drag the color into duplicate that, you in there, and drag that into there. And instead of linear, yeah, I'll leave that how it is for right now. Let's see, how about, let's give that... I don't know. 5? Seems about good. Now, I also want to give this, whoa, too fast. Okay. What if I make that non-color? Okay, yeah, that just solves the entire problem. Okay. Now, because that, I'm going to redrag this in. Cool. No. No, not new image. Fake user. Open. New image. Okay. If I just do that one, and I set that to sRGB. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I can deal with it. It'll look okay in the end. Besides, the texture detail is going to get so scuffed in Unity anyway, it's not going to really matter. But it'll look nice here at the very least. Pattern Diamond 03. Cubic, smart, closest. We'll set that one to cubic, actually, because that'll make it a lot. Okay. Factor. So, if I put that to 1, and then instead of linear light, we mix. Where's mix? And then set that to like black. We can just kind of darken the entire thing. How does that look? Oh, right, I forgot. Huh. Oh, how foolish of me. I've also forgotten to do this. To decrease the strength of the normal map. 0.75, that'll do for now. And in terms of this... No. Factor. Right, that's super glossy, that's not glossy at all. What if I just don't, you know? What if I just don't? I could just not at all. Just leave it to its devices. Seems about good. Though, I am curious, what I do with this? Is that the same? Mesh vinyl. Oh, it's different. Fabric. Oh, okay, let me go back to Orc-MkX, arms, data, textures, layers, low resolution, fabric. Nope, still towel. Grunge is the same as it always is. Natural is the same as it always is. Noise is the same as it always is. And pattern is the same as usual. Okay, wonderful. resolution, pattern. Yep, okay, wonderful. And it's odd because it looks like it should be the same material. Strange. Mesh, vinyl. Let me just copy these and paste them in. Because I feel like it should be using the mesh vinyl textures for this. It's really what it feels like. So if I drop you in instead, it's much sharper. Oh, wow. Yeah, no, that's... I don't know why the mesh... Yeah, okay, I'm gonna use that instead, because that looks like that should be what it's using instead. Okay, it's gonna get really, really obscured in Unity anyway because of the, you know, the texture. But I think it's okay anyway. So there's our texture there. And I'm just gonna look at this. That's not... grab this over here. Color, multiply. Oh, wait, no. Linear light. Come on. Keep missing it when I try to click on it. Let's make it a bit more rough. That should be fine. That's RGB, non-color. Oh, when I switch it on to non-color, there's really no reason to even... Oh well. Seems a bit reflective still. I can test that by going into rendered. And seeing how the light reflects off of it. Yeah, that's good. That's fine. Shading. Put that back to solid so I don't kill my PC. It's Eevee though, so it's fine. It's not really gonna be a problem. And I can grab this entire thing here and then make group. Move that over to here and then F2 that as vinyl. I know that's how I probably not spelled it correctly. It's V-I-N-Y-L. I knew it. I knew I spelled it wrong. No, V-I-N-Y-L. Vinyl. There we go. And then I can just copy this entire thing. Over to the glove. Yep. And the tiling, yeah, I'll put that at 10. This will be really like just visual noise because it's going to be tiled so small, but I don't want it to be tiled too big on the glove because then it'll look strange. But I think I can probably make the glove a bit darker, I guess. It's dark enough. Gotta go into rendered view sometimes to see how, you know, dark the texture actually is. Which also helps by going and looking at the emission. There we go. Yeah, it's a gray and a black. So I can probably make it a bit darker, but for right now I think it's okay. As it is. Okay, Gauntlet is that piece. Do I have any special worries about this one? Yes, I do. Okay. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go over here to there. And move those up here so that all of the materials are matching up. Delete, paste. And there we go. It's just exactly how it should be. No questions asked. That's perfect. Wonderful. And then if I scroll up a little bit and I look at core, that's already done. That's already taken care of. That's correct. Bicep. That probably is going to use this one as well. Yep, looks like it. Upper arm. That probably also uses... Yes, it definitely does, because instead of that being... Yep, I can tell because this was red and it should have been black, which means it's going to use the latter one. Shoulders. That one doesn't look like it has any leather bits on it, so I can probably just grab this. Yeah, it looks right. That looks right. Elbows. I can't really see it, honestly, from this angle. That's in the image. But it looks like the back end of that is... Yeah, we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with that for right now. Shoulders is already taken care of. Okay. That's the gauntlets done. Now the leg pieces. Oh. Oh, wait, what? Wait. Oh. Oh. Interesting. I don't care. I just noticed that these little things on the undersuit here should have the vinyl, like, crisscross on them. Not gonna worry about that right now. I'm also gonna go here. And reduce that by a bunch. Because that doesn't need to be as tiled as it is. And as for this, might as well. Copy that, as well as these three. And paste it in. sure I have the mix in there. And which one of these is it? Is it... It's that one. Okay. It's the first one. There. Cool. And that's going to be 20 instead of 50. There we go. I can drag that into there. As well as this into there. No, I can't. Okay. Didn't mean to do that. To be darker. You know, on second thought, I think it's okay with just that. I don't think it needs the texture mixed in. Pretty sure it's fine like it is. Cool. Well then. It's a nice little change to the Stone Skunk undersuit. It appears as if the undersuit is actually colored here as well. So I might have to do some reformatting of the, the suit textures themselves. Such as this part, for example, is actually, also colored in accordance with the rest of it. But I'll worry about that later. I will worry about that later. So. Start off. Wonderful. That's a great start. It already has the thing it's supposed to. The boots. The boots. What looks to be the same material. It appears as if it's actually reversed. The dark and the light parts are... Okay, this is different. Yeah, no, it's not the same thing. The boots have their own materials to speak of. So... Can I ungroup you? Will that affect the other things that are grouped? No, it won't. And if I was to say, change that to like blue, okay. Okay, so I can copy a group over and just burst it. Like, split it apart without having to worry about it. Okay, so this is that part. So I can actually grab you and you and switch you around. So you're going to go into A and you're going to go into B. And then this red is also going to be the same color as that one. Okay. Start playing this one next. I have a couple like YouTube mixes or synthwave that I have lined up for this. Dark color there. That's what it looks like in the reference. Yes. So now I also need to do the same thing here. This one. That's 0.4. Wait, I need to swap that one and that one. So that one's 0.04. That one's 0.075. That one's 0.075. Don't even know why I'm worrying about that. It's not that important at all. It's such a slight difference in the metallic values, it's probably not going to make much of a difference. Roughness is the same. Yeah, it's your roughness is uniform, so it doesn't matter. Okay. So I can grab this, all of you, and then make group. Group of 4, rename as Greaves. Okay, that's already... Whoa, okay. Hold up, hold up. Calm down there. Should that maybe be assigned... to that one? Yeah, that looks like it should be assigned to there. We're gonna do that instead. Or maybe it should be given the same material as, like, I don't know, the leather material. I'm gonna go up to here, go to there, and then rename that leather. No, that... We'll do that. That looks much better. Okay. I'll also go to here. We're gonna name this paint, and then I can rename this to leather as well. Paint, 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 leather, 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 vinyl. INYL. Okay, so now I have those. I'll make a backup of this before I start doing a bunch of changes with the actual, like, reassigning materials and that kind of stuff. Alright, that looks like it should just be the paint material. So if I go grab that, wait, should it be paint or should it be greaves? The reference looks like paint's okay. Looks like that the paint material is okay. Okay to be paint. That one. That one's also okay to be paint. Yeah, that's fine. Going down the list. It's okay. That one's okay. Probably, I think. Well, I just... Yeah, that's fine. All these one in this area that are, like, connected should be the same material. Because if you don't, you'll see a very visible line down the model where it's different. Which you definitely don't want. Alright, and it looks like that's all of it. I'm also going to change... I think I'm going to change this as well. From here to, like... I don't know. Studio, maybe? I wish I could add my own. I think you can, I just don't know how. Strength, world opacity, blur, underpass, compositor, camera always disabled. We'll do that. That one's like nice outside kind of. We'll keep that for right now. Because this is the default one. Yeah, those are too harsh. One's like a nighttime. We'll keep it with the studio because it's some nice straight white lights that I can use to reference as my coloring and everything. So it doesn't obscure it with any, you know, odd colors. It's a bit shiny, but that'll get definitely... I want it to be a bit more shiny than it should be. Because it'll get dulled down in Unity. Okay. Looking for... Right, that's what I was gonna do. Back up. I've done everything. Now is... No, not texture paint, shading. Now is time I go ahead and... Oh. I'm gonna take this one actually, I think. Because that's... Is that all of them? Wait, is that texture map all of them? That one, UV editing. Yeah, they're all on the same. That's insane. That's ridiculous. I love it. I don't even... This is going to be like such a small file size. Wonderful. It's a 2048 texture. Is it? Wait, how big is this texture? Yeah, it's a 2048 texture. I love it. Now! Storage, where's my SD conversion projects? Nope, Star Runner, Orc 5. Then I copy these into here and then rename those to 2023 423. Go. And back to shading. Standard material. Which is paint. This is glass, neck. No. I'm not going to pronounce that out loud. Okay. Neck, glass, paint, and emission. Paint. Also paint. Also paint. And vinyl. I just did. Oh wow, I can... Oh my gosh, I didn't realize you could do that. Whoa! Whoa! Cool, that was a fun mistake. Final leather. Leather. Mission, that's fine. Doing this because I believe there's a function I can use to combine all of these. Undersuit. Plays. Let's see, so there's the entire thing. Undersuit main. There's an R in there. Undersuit. There we go. Undersuit. Okay, that's the same. That's okay. That looks like it's the same as that one, is it? Which part is that? That's not the same. Undersuit fabric. We'll call it that. Undersuit gloves. Suit straps. Oh. Yeah, that one doesn't... I don't care. That one's gonna be main as well. Right. So now something I think I can do. Utilities... No. Objects... No, I think I should... I think this is something you can do without cats. Clean up, show hide, convert quick effects, animation, rigid body. Like materials. I guess there is no way to do it without cats then? Edit, preferences, cats. Oh. Cool. It's broken. Thanks, cats. Okay, well, looks like we're doing it manually. Select, select, select. Assign. Select, select, select. Assign. Select, select. Oh, I can just do control. No. Material. that button. Control L by material. Shift L. L? Alt L. No. Oh well. Like I said, not that hard to do it manually. Undersuit main. Sign. Paint. 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 Sign. Leather. Sign. Clean up unused material slots. There we go. Hide that. Hide that. Hide that. Hide that. Hide that. Cool. Material preview. And it looks the same. Whoopee. And of course, there's nothing for it to reflect off of, so it's just blank here. Shiny there. Cool. That does make it much easier to bake the materials of. Seems a bit loud. Let me turn that down a bit. This song is especially loud for some reason. Now we go to here and change that to cycles. And then, let's see, diffuse, metallic, roughness, normal. How big is this texture? Because this is the same. Because I don't want this to be like a huge texture. I think this is... How do I find out? View, image, size. It's 8192. It's not what I want. Though, yeah, we'll try it. We'll try it. First things first. Don't render the sun. The sun is for viewing purposes only. Bake. Normal. Make sure the armature is non-selectable. Right, okay. And I gotta go through each of these individually. Shape keys. UV maps. UV map. UV map. Well, that's UV space map. That's undersuit UV map. UV map. UV map. UV map. There, okay. Now, this UV map on all of these. This one, this one, this one, and this one are all gonna move up while the undersuit stays Nope, 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 nope. By the 2D cursor. There we go. In the center. And then we go back to UV editing, and then grab all of these, and scale by 0.5. Okay, hold on. Okay, who's the funny guy? What is this? Oh, that's part of the emission. Okay, yeah, no, I don't care. It's not gonna have a texture anyway, so it doesn't really matter. There we go. And that should be all of... Yep. 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 Yep, okay. Yep, perfect. I'm just double checking them because the last thing I want to do is... Oh. What? Whoa. Oh, no, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. Okay. Oh, I see what's going on. Okay. Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna go on there. Hide that. On edge selects and hide that. Figure out. Okay, yeah. So, oh, it is all working as it should. Everything looks good on that respect. Perfect. Okay. Shading. Back to you. Yep, that's all janked up, but that's okay. That's how I want it to look. That means it's working correctly. That means it's working correctly. Save it. Select everything. Go to shading. Select, let's see, diffuse, metallic, roughness, normal's at the bottom. Normal. Normal. You don't have anything. Normal. You're good. Paint, leather, you're good. Paint, leather, greaves, normal. They're good. Normal. Good. Okay. Everything can go here. Bake, normal tangent. Everything's good. Slap that bake button. Yeah, I know you're going to spit out some errors because the glass and the emission don't have a texture in them to bake to, so it's just going to scream at me. Now, I just realized this is baking to a massive, massive texture. And how long that's going to take. Yeah. Blender? Sorry. Okay, it's still dead. Blender. There it goes. I gotta resize that normal map before I do anything else. I also gotta update hard ops because it keeps bugging me about that. Hard ops is available, I know. Thank you. Texture paint. Image, resize, 8192 divided by 2, divided by 2. That's still 4096, but I'd rather make a bigger image and then downscale than vice versa. If I go to diffuse bake, image, resize, divided by 2, divided by 2. Metallic and roughness, I believe, are already at that scale. Yep. Yep. Good. Good, good, good. Shading. Yeah, okay, it's saved. Select everything. Cycles, GPU. Because that's faster. Now we can hit bake. Now I can continue eating my bagel. Which is now cool because I haven't taken a bite in an hour. Well, it's actually showing me progress. It usually just goes to 2%, waits, and then goes to 100. Cool. I was supposed to hit select similar, not select linked. At Shift G and not Control L. I see. I see, I see. Okay, cool. It looks like it's adding... We have 5 pieces in total, so it should do that 5 times. There we go. That was quick. Now, if I duplicate, move, new collection, date. All of these can go. All you can have your normal selected. Then chin. They're apparent, and now they're their own thing, and they're not attached to the armature anymore. Cool. And if I hide that, we should be able to see. If I do baked. Shading. And then let's see, diffuse bake into base color, metallic base into metallic, roughness bake into roughness, normal bake into normal. Active render, active UV matte. Okay. I think that's reverse. I think if I do this, it'll be correct. I think that's how it's supposed to work. Hold on, let me open up one of my other projects to double check I'm doing this correctly. Just open up the Defiance. If I select you, bake assembly. Okay, so I can, okay, that is, okay. That is right. Yeah, okay, cool. Shading. Are the normals correct at least? Shading. Bake. What? Excuse me? Oh, you're joking. Oh, you're joking. Oh, okay, yep. Yep, okay. Now. Diffuse. 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 Those two are already good. That one's good already. Wait. I just realized, no, helmet, neck. Oh! No, I think I got it. I think we're good, okay. What is that doing over there? Diffuse. There. I don't need to say it every time, I just am. Cool. On hide. And emit. Oh, I just realized I didn't recolor the undersuit. That's fine, whatever. Doesn't matter. I can make it again later if I need to. Usually this one doesn't take that long. Yeah, it's almost done already. Usually the normal map is the one that takes the longest. The most complex. There we go. And moving right on from that. Metallic. Just about done. There it is. Okay. think I'll go back through and rebake the... I'll adjust and rebake the texture, the color for just the undersuit. I'll go back through all the materials here just so I can actually see them more properly. Okay. Judging based on how it looks in the images here, this part, no. This part needs to be red. As well as this part needs to be more red. It'd be easier just to... Oh, hey, thank you for the follow. I could make a group, but I don't think it's really worth that. So I'm just going to say copy the hex value. That is that. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, no. I think that's the only part of it that gets the color treatment there. We'll copy this though. That persists through all of them. There we go. Color change, now it's red instead of orange. And I think I might desaturate this a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. It's much less... We'll go about there. Yeah, that's good. I don't want it to be super dark. Shading, and then I'll go ahead and emission, diffuse, layout, and then I'm gonna not clear image and hit again. And then it should just overwrite only that part of the image on only the undersuit. I've just realized I made a mistake. Because I didn't... I need to bake these two. All the materials need to bake because I changed all of them. So all of them need to be rebaked. There we go. Now we can do that. And this should be just very, very fast. There we go. And I'll just redo the principled BSDF. And fingers crossed. Oh. Ooh. Something went wrong. What went wrong? Was it the roughness? Or the metallic? Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's not... Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I didn't assign it the material. Ah, there we go. Okay. Why does it look so weird? You know what? I'm just not gonna think about it. Just don't worry about it. Because it looks okay in here for the most part. I'm gonna assume it's good. And join that into body. Make sure the armature is reselectable. File, export FBX, Orc-MkX. Oh. Re-export over the top of it. Okay. Unity. It's gonna pause for a second. There we go. Armature 180. Baked emission in glass. Okay. Glass. Emission. Yep, there you go. There's the material used for the visor of the Horizon undersuit. Materials, create, material, ORC, emission. And I can put that on Wyoming 8.1. Oh, right. How did I do... What's the easiest way to... I forgot how I did the emission on the other ones. Because it also has to have... shading... light data... Okay... Special effects... Emission 0... Base colors map... and color adjust. Saturation. Oh, right, I forgot. Ooh. No. No. Replace base color. Emission strength. Yeah, so the base color doesn't matter. Hue shift. Hue shift that. So if I make that like red, and then I hue shift it, it does that. Ah, then how did I get it to go? How did I do that? Saturation 0, brightness 1. I guess? Does that really change anything? Now, if the brightness is 1, it doesn't really matter what the saturation is. It doesn't seem to have a visible difference. So I can just leave that at 0 and then just change the brightness between 0 and 1. And then, of course, hue shift it. And the brightness won't matter. Okay. That looks good. I think that's how I did it on the other ones. Hue shift, renamed when locked. Emission strength, renamed when locked. And then audio link. I'll have to copy the audio link settings from one of my other avatars. No, not show and explorer. Create material. Or body. Shading, realistic. Use indirect, receive 1.3. There's the ambient occlusion. Matte caps, environmental rim, reflections and specular. And then, no, not materials, textures. And then I can go to texture paint, image. I'll just go to shading. No, yeah, texture paint is fine. Image, save as, or metallic bake. Save as, or diffuse bake. And the same for the rest of these. Diffuse, metallic, normal. Oh, nope. Roughness. Now we gotta do a little bit of image editing here. Because this needs to be... This gloss map I don't need. Don't need the reference anymore. WDA. Actually, no. Image, no. New. 4096 by 8192. I just realized I made a mistake. No, I didn't. Oh, I did. I did. Ooh, I made a big mistake. I did. It's 4096 by 6144. Should have been 4096 by 8192. Pain. Yeah, that's not... Oh, gosh. Okay. Yeah, if I go to shading here, let's go to like diffuse bake, image, resize, 4096 times 2 is 8192. Yeah. That's how it should have been. That's what it should have been. In the meantime, while this is... I'm going to start baking this again, but in the meantime, while it's doing that, we can actually do stuff. Unity. So I'm not just waiting for it. So baked. Go here. Neck. Paint normal. Okay. Make that normal map. Go. In the meantime, 4096, 8192. Changes. New. 48, 40. Wait, hold on. Yeah, 4096. I was correct. Okay. I thought I was going crazy for a second. CDS undersuit data. Wait, that is correct, yeah? Male CDS undersuit armor 01. Okay, yep. Characters, human, male, armor, CDS, textures, filter by type, WA. Let me see. Tools. No, image, guides, new guide by percent, horizontal 50%. There we go. Image, guide, new guide by percent, 0% vertical. There we go. Makes that nice and easy. Now, file, colors, components, extract components, RGB blue. Okay. Colors, components, extract component, RGB blue. File, export as. It'll be on my desktop. What should I name this? RC. AO. Desktop. Control X, Control V. There we go. Boom. Now we have our ORC AO ORC AO. Now, I forgot how I did this on my other ones. Scale lighting, brightness. Power strength. I'll have to worry about that later. For now, color normals. ORC diffuse, ORC normal, and then we go to reflection specular maps, ORC metallic, ORC smoothness or roughness in this case. And emission body. That doesn't look right at all. To it. Image. Save as. Now that's a lot better. But you still a problem. Oh, I made a mistake. Gee whiz. Okay. That's fine. I can deal with it. I forgot that I merged them, and I started doing stuff afterwards. That's okay. I can edit the model with it merged. I just do this, invert, hide, and then yep, that works. Let's see. Right up to there. I'm just removing the part of the arm real fast so it doesn't clip into the arm piece, the gauntlet, because it will. Same with down here. Actually, no, I can't remove anything from down there, so it's fine. Let's see. And now it should be better. Yes, just like that. However, and you can import as a 4096 texture, whereas you can import as an 8192. Specular. Right, and that's inverted. Cool. Oh, that looks amazing. I didn't lose a whole lot either. A whole lot of visual, like, quality either. That texture filtering really helps. Now, the only bad thing about this that's fine. I'll confirm merge on that. And that should give me that, which I can drop in textures, and I'll import that as 4096. Actually, now that I think about it, does it really need to be 4096? It can probably just be 2048. Yeah, it's fine like that. It's fine as 2048. Okay. Now, AO. VA. Okay, so what about the detail? Detail shadows. You know, it's fine with both. I think it's fine how it is. I just got to go over to textures real quick and make sure that's a non-color texture. And immediately it's so much smaller in file size. 4096 at 5 meg. That's so small. Comparatively, how it was to how it was before. Alright. Back to baking. Shading. Diffuse. I could just keep it how it was. But that would mean that I would lose image quality. And texture quality. I'm not about to do that. That's one thing I don't do is... I'm already having to, compress and sacrifice enough as it being a a visual quality with it being a texture atlas as is. Don't need to sacrifice any more by it being stretched more than it should. Emit, bake. Okay. And by default, let's see, normal texture. Environmental rim lighting. Mask? Whatever. Wait, 1024 by 2048. Okay, right, gotcha. What's my next step here? Color adjust. Saturation renamed, brightness renamed, hue shift renamed. Saturation, brightness. Am I including brightness? Hold on. Let me go to my Defiance armor and say. You see, no. Did I include Defiance in my last one? So sorry, brightness. What was my last avatar? Was it the Morozov? Morozov. Materials. Body. Saturation and brightness are both included. Okay. Then in that case, we'll also include it in here. Saturation, brightness, hue shifts. Shading, reflections, and specular, that's all good. Special effects, audio link. Okay, right. Morozov glow. Audio link. Hue shift, mission strength, audio link. Oh right, I have to make sure the audio link is a audio link animated when locked. What are the values on this? 0, 1. Okay, you know, I'll just take a screenshot of this. It's less of a pain to do it this way than it is to like properly like just copy and paste the entire thing. 0, 1, base, 0, 1, high mid, 0, 0.2 and 0.1 low mid. Cool. And that should be all it needs. Replace. Wait, what? It's replacing it? Oh, well, base colors map overrides replace. That's why. That's why it's like that. Okay. Yeah, and I am doing the same thing here. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Same thing. Nailed it. Okay. That's done. Shading. Image. Save as. Diffuse bake. Metallic. 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 Leather paint. Paint, leather. Greaves, paint, leather. Okay. That. Don't need you anymore. Don't need that anymore either. That's update. And replace hue shift, use speed. Actually, did I bake properties? Okay, okay, yeah, okay, cool. Should be everything for the body material. Color adjust. Oh. Oh. I don't think I need to worry about that though. I can probably just hue shift the entire thing, honestly. Yeah, this one I don't need a mask for. I don't need a color mask for hue shifting it. It should be pretty much fine. Gosh, this looks surprisingly good for how it is. Let me go to avatar evaluation. What? Oh, it's frozen. Oh, it's Unity. It's pulling a Unity on me. And ceasing function. think after this, it's on to the weapons. I had started making the P4AR on the Morozov, and then decided it was a horrible idea, and then didn't. So we're gonna do it here. Morozov P4AR to there. Materials. I didn't do any models. Textures. Wait, what? Wait. Oh, yeah, okay. Armature. So about that. Uh, What's the easiest way to do this? Yeah, I'm just gonna copy Orc-Mark 5, paste. Pose editor, Orc-Mark 5, pose. Avatar descriptor, animator. Oh, you know, wait, hold on. I'm an idiot. Configure let's find one. Toes. No. None. Oops. Sorry. There it is. No toes. Head. Neck. Head. Left eye, right eye. Jaw. Cool. Done. Apply. There we go. And that does all that work for me. .73. 1.73. Turn gizmos back on for this. What did I put it for you? 1.12. Okay. That's good. Lip sync, eye look, playable layers, customize. Let's see. Sitting. Base. Defines locomotion. Defiance action. Because that's just the generic stuff I use for my star citizen avatars. And let's see about that. Maybe it's a little bit too red, but that's okay. People can control that with the saturation slider. Editor. Orc-MkX. Pose. Proxy T-pose. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no, that's bad. That's really bad. Okay. Okay. What? Excuse me? Shoulder 02. Right forearm. Silken confused. Why is it doing that? Oh no, I had this issue. I think I had a similar issue before. Similar issue with the Defiance armor. Let's see. Left hand start SKL 1. Left forearm. Right forearm. What? What? I'm so confused. What? That doesn't make any sense. It's red! It's red! What? I'm... Oh, wait. No, what? Oh, what? What? I don't know what to make of this. It's doing... Why? Why? Oh, also, whoops. join that backward body. There we go. I'll export it again once I figure out what the issue is. Wait a minute, what? Wait a minute. It's not moving the elbow pieces either. It's like it's missing. What is this vertex group here? What is that vertex group? Right elbow pit depth. Right forearm controls that area too, though. Something's up with this. Right forearm. Knew it. It's my workaround for Unity. This happens every time. It's my workaround for Unity being dumb. Got it. I knew I was missing something that I had done before. Okay. So now that those are pretty much one-to-one lined up, I can just shift things over. So P4 holder, Orc 5. P4 mag holder, Orc 5. Armature hips, spine, spine 1, spine 1. Ammo contact, P4 shoulder anchor, P4 back anchor. Right shoulder, right arm, right forearm. Right hand. P4 hand anchor. Shoulder, left arm, forearm, hand. P4 aim target. Way to search like I don't remember how. Can I? It's like on. there's like things you can do. There's like tags, like search type box script on. On a list, but I don't remember. Search syntax. Component type instance ID path. Oh, Unity, I hate you. I can't. It's the UI is broken again. I can't like freeze. It freezes up. Like I can't hit F2 or like rename anything. Even if I right click and rename, it won't do it or anything like that. It's just stupid. So there we go. That's what it's supposed to do. Search all game objects use path matches the. Whatever. It's not doing anything. Oh well. Okay, looks like I didn't miss anything. Orzhov, I can probably delete that now. Gosh, the Morozov just looks so much better. It just looks so good. Maybe I could spice this up a little bit. Because I think if I... Oh, right, I also gotta go this. And then, again, confirm merge. Second time. Oh. It's because there's the thing in textures that matches it. I go to here. Still using a very old version of GIMP. I'm pretty sure there's new updates. File, new, 2048 by 4096. Layer, no, image, no, image, guides. Can't. Okay. Oh, there is no difference. They're just two different file types. Guides by percent, 50. Image guides by percent. Vertical 0. Down to the bottom. That there. That to the top. Colors. Components. Decompose. Export as WDA Atlas. If that's done, I'll just decompose it that way. Make it a lot easier. Desktop. Oh, did I put it in? Where did I put it? What? Export as... Oh, put it in documents. Ah, oh, jeez. Documents. WD Atlas. There. Oh. I'll have to open with GIMP then. So it opens a new one. There it goes. Colors, components, decompose. There we go. Red and the green. File, export as WD Atlas. R G. That's, and I can just close that GIMP again because I don't need any more. Discard changes, and I can delete this from my documents and get it out of there. was thinking I could use these to like add on like grit. But I'd probably have to have done that in Blender, wouldn't I? Yeah, I would have had to do that in Blender. For the like roughness and yeah. Oh. So detail texture, detail normal. Light data, shading, reflections, and specular. Yeah, crap. I use like one of these as the Atlas reflection mask instead. Nah. How can I use these to add on to it? I don't know if there's a way for me to use these to add on to it in... Because this is like a nice edge to it. Like as if the edges are worn. I'll put that in as a specular mask. So it's like everything... No, that won't do it. That won't matter. Okay, so what can I do? I guess I could add on a detail texture. First thing I can do here is I can unlock this and mark these as non-color textures. Detail texture. That's over. I'm gonna try this. I don't know if I feel like this right now, but we'll try it. Oh, I just noticed that. Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. No one's really gonna be... It's not gonna be necessary to stare at the neck anyways. I'll do 4096. Yeah, I'd have to get a good detail on the edges of it. I wish there's like I wish Point me like edge detection, not like tell it to like dirty up the edges. I think what we'll do is we'll use this as a the R detail mask, but invert it. Guess I can't. WDA-R. Let's open this with paint.net. Invert it, save it. Actually, maybe I just want to invert this. Okay. If I bring this back, reselect this to... where was I? I named it Orc-MkX. Materials, body, swap those two. Atlas R as the detail mask. Detail texture tint. Oh yeah, there we go. Noise. Oh, we give a nice noise texture to this. It's a good, like, dirt-looking noise texture. Let's look through all my textures here. Normally I keep it over on this screen so I can see, like, you know, what's in here, because if I have it here, it covers that up. It's a good... Well, do I have just dirt? No. It's a dirty-looking noise texture. That'll work. And if I tile it by, like, 20 by 20... What if I just take off the detail mask entirely? Right, 20 by 40. 30 by 4, by 60. That looks alright. And then... Actually, let me try some different ones. Ooh, that one might... Ooh, that one might actually look pretty good. That one too. That one looks really good. Not all these tile perfectly either. Like that one. Doesn't tile great. I think that's the one I was using before. Yeah, it is. Okay. I think I might have to use the other one. That one's literally just like fine noise. What was that one that I said looked really good? That was like a really fine detail, noise texture. That one. This one looks better. And if I turn the brightness down to like 0, if I turn up to like max. Pretty good. It brightens it up a bunch. Like as if you've... I could do it to black. As, you know, as if it's like scuffed. Or I could do it to white as if it's like worn out. I can just adjust the intensity. Stuff on it. What is this texture called? Noise layered 1. $30 by $60. Yeah, I don't think I want to do that. We'll keep it without the null map. But I do like the... I do like that a little bit. I think I also might just see about if I can't, like, effects, adjustments, brightness and contrast. Like, increase the contrast a bit more. Like... I, you know, add some more contrast to it. Yeah, there we go. Do it again. You know, it's really like just the edges that are like scuffed up. I just increased the contrast by a bunch, you can see it there. So now just the edges are getting... And I could do this in Blender. But... Actually, why don't I do this in Blender? Why don't I... Wait, hold on. Blender... Like, hold on. I'm really curious. I want to try this. This might be fun. This is something I've never tried before. Hello, VAR. Welcome. Why is it not? Oh. It's not outdated. I literally updated it not too long ago. I remember, let's see if I remember how to do this. Whoops. Layers. See how to, let's see if I remember how to do this. There we go. Curvature, ambient occlusion, that's what I wanted. Mask generator. Is there a mask generator? Eraser, projection, polygon fill, smudge, clone. Edit. Painting. Python, JavaScript. I know it's here somewhere. Material, color, height, metal norm. Tools. Bullet impact. Oh no, he's been shot. That's cool. Gosh, that's so cool. Someone's walked on him. My boy. Search. Concrete edges. Dust, soft edges. Oh. Interesting. Edge blur, edges scratched. Okay, how do I use this? Gun edges. Okay, how do I use this? I forgot how to use this. What is this? Is this... What is this? Edge damage? Gun edges? Smart mask. Okay. I'll worry about that later. Off stream when I can like launch YouTube tutorials and such. But for now, I'll leave it like this. The areas that aren't, you know, like scratched up and stuff are pretty much the same. Cool. Except for the undersuit. The undersuit is affected and it shouldn't be. There we go. The undersuit shouldn't really be affected by this. Just the armor. So I can just not include it in the mask. Or alternatively, adjustments, color balance, brightness. So it just gets a little bit of it. Perfect. How about we go to the actual... Yeah, I might as well just do that. Honestly. Whatever, I'll just do that for right now. Again, it doesn't matter, I'll be doing more later. And Substance Painter, and maybe that'll give me what I want. Okay. If I'm looking at the animation side of it right now. I want... I've already got the P4 and all of its subsequent materials and... I think did I already make particles for it? P4 holder, effects. Oh my gosh, I already did. My gosh, I already did. Oh, because I can just copy and paste it, I think. I just copied and pasted it from one of my other bearing. Like a modified of the S38, I think. Wow, okay, so the P4 is all done. In the visual and model side of things. I have to worry about is the animator. And I'm not going to do that today because I have been streaming for 3 hours. And I could stream for longer, but I'm hungry and want dinner. So that is going to come later. So I'm going to be honest. This music ain't it right now. That just ain't it. Not feeling it. So anyway, I'll just end the stream on this. The song that I started the stream with. And I'll get my stuff together, do a little bit in Substance Painter, and next time I get on stream, I will have all of the Substance Painter stuff should be done. And we should just be able to move on to... And that might be, you know, the next day or two, or that might be the next week or two. I don't know how soon it'll be. But after that, I should be able to go on to actually doing the animator and animation side of things, which is the hardest. And P4 is going to be difficult because 3 different firing modes. And I've only ever done 2 firing modes for a weapon before. So not only do I have a single fire and a burst fire, I have a semi-auto, auto, and burst fire. It shouldn't be conceptually... I've done full auto and single. Actually, nothing. I haven't. I haven't done a full auto and semi-auto. And so I've done 2 of those 3. Well, sorry. I've done all 3 of them. But I haven't done all combinations together. So... probably just going to be copying and pasting from, or at least referencing. I can't really copy and paste in the animators easily. It's going to be referencing stuff like finding something that's similar and using that. Which in this case would be I'm probably going to copy a lot from probably from the P4 AR. And I'm probably going to copy a lot of stuff in the P4 AR and the F55. And then probably copy some stuff, reference some stuff, rather, from the, like the different, you know, switch cases and whatnot that I used from the Custodian SMG. Because it has 2 different burst modes. One with the charge. This doesn't have any charging, luckily. Making weapons that charge is painful. So, that should be easier to account for. And also, so with my increased experience in the way I'm doing it now, it shouldn't be as difficult to work it. It takes to work all the logic and everything. It takes a little bit more performance to have as many animator layers as I do, but that's just a sacrifice that I'm willing to make. These weren't, it takes so much effort to try to make it work in just a single, a few animation layers. I'd rather do what I'm doing right now, which is just split everything up into its own animation layer and handle it that way. So, it's not the best in terms of performance, but they're Star Citizen avatars. Nobody should expect them to perform well anyways. The more complexity you add, the more performance you sacrifice. That's why Star Citizen runs like crap. One of the reasons. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. And, yeah, I hope any, VAR is lurking. I hope you enjoyed listening to me for a little bit rant on, and I hope anybody from the VOD have found this useful and enjoyed watching. And I will see you guys in the next stream.